Everybody, SuzyQue here, and welcome to QueAquatics and Exotics. So now I have this 55-gallon tank with electricity. Not an easy feat. And now I'm getting ready to clean it out for my angels. You would think hanging up a strip bar would be super easy, right? Why is it so hard? Like, what? Do I make things harder than they need to be? I might. But take a look at this. So this is my laundry room that I am going to utilize. I'm going to utilize and set up that 55-gallon. I got the walls cleaned up. I got the floor scrubbed. So this is my 55-gallon tank that's going to start the process of my tank tetra game, as Liz calls it. And if you don't know who Elizabeth is at One Fish, Two Fish ROC, check out her card. I'm going to start at the beginning. Okay, so my first task at hand is to get electricity in here. And I have a power bar that's pretty heavy. And I can see where the studs are, but they don't match up with these screws. So I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not. I'm going to add a piece of wood to the studs. And then I'm going to attach that to the wood. Because I'm just not quite sure if it's overkill. Is this what you're supposed to do? Believe it or not, this is a fish video. But my fish need electricity. Electricity! La, 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 la. My electricity's up in the ceiling, right? I'm just going to push it this way until it comes out the other side, right? Oh my goodness. Holy cow, I don't even know if that was worth it. Oh yeah, that was worth it. And this can come down. And then this can go down. And then this doesn't even have to be light, it's just an outlet. You see if fish tank number 1 reaches. Alright, so maybe it is worth it because the fish tank is on. And the electricity is sturdy. Oh my. I gotta say, all I wanted to do is clean out this 55-gallon and set up a new tank, which is, I love. It's a passion. I do like to set up tanks and aquascape and all that. Hanging this up, not so much my favorite. But I did it, and now I could say, look what I did. And I might have done it wrong. That's okay. I put a piece of wood up that I know spanned over 3 different studs, drilled them into the studs, put this on the board. So now everything's up, everything's secured, got electricity, but now that it's done, I'm happy. Gonna have wires everywhere? I don't care. I want to make sure everything's got a drip loop, there's no water going out, we're good. Now I'm ready to clean out my 55-gallon tank. So this tank needs to be cleaned out, rinse it off, suck out the water, and keep going. Now this tank was given to me. This is a free tank, and I'm very, very happy about it. And a guy from my fish club, Tom Galuli, amazing guy. He put it in his car, and he was so patient. He was so kind. And I got this home. It took me about 10 days to get it out of my car because I had to get somebody to help me. Got it out of my car. Then it took another week or so to try to get these 6 cinder blocks and 2x4s down here. But in order to get them home, I needed a truck. Now that it's here, now that it's set up, now that I have electricity, let's get cleaning. Something just dawned on me. I do not know if this tank's going to hold water yet. I just remember Tom said it wasn't his tank and he wasn't sure. So I'm going to fill it up with water. But if you noticed, I came out here when filling up the water because even though the level says level, and I trust it, I trust more when I'm filling up with water that everything hits this black line at the same time, all around, all four sides. I don't think water can lie. I don't know about this background. Because you see how if it gets a little bit of water in it, it kind of distorts the color. Doesn't look too bad with the inside light off. As soon as I turn the inside light on, see that backing, man. Yeah, that's not cool. So what I'm going to do is I have this filled up with water. I'm going to let it sit for a couple days. No, I'm not. Who am I kidding? I'm not that patient. I'm going to let it sit for a couple hours and see if it holds water. Make a decision about the back of it. So here's my plan now. I'm going to keep it bare bottom. I'll bring over beneficial bacteria, existing sponge filter. If I'm going to have sponge filters, I need air back here. Now this tank actually came with a canister. I've never used a canister filter ever. Maybe this is my time to start. I will start with what I know, and that's air. So I'll set up a little air pump because I have an extra sponge filter in almost every one of my tanks ready to set up new tanks, just in case. While I wait to see if this holds water, I'm going to go see if I can gather up an air pump. I have a thermometer. Oh, I'm excited. Let me get going. I went upstairs, had a snack. I had my lunch. And this tank is not leaking. I'm very happy. Not real happy with the backing. Okay, so I got my check valves. I got tubing. I got my scissors. Actually, they're my aquascaping scissors. I found a pump that I wasn't using. Well, I was using it, but I rearranged. So I found this, which is going to turn one of those hoses into a three-way. And then the other one will go on the other side of the tank. I only found one air stone. Let me get this set up. Here's my air pump. I have my air pump. And I've got the tubing going to the check valve, going through the check valve to a hose. This other one, I've got the tubing going through a check valve. And what this check valve, and the reason why all air has to go this way, nothing flows this way, usually you have arrows, which says the air goes in this way and comes out this way. If something happens and this pump shuts off, the water won't go backwards. I just filled this up with water out of my tap. This water went through a carbon blocker, but I don't totally trust that carbon blocker because I've been using it for about 4 months now. So I am going to get some water conditioner to put in here. Now that I have the air hooked up, the light's on, the water's in the tank, it's time to add my water conditioner. I'm going to use some Safe. So for a 300-gallon tank, I would only need a 1/4 teaspoon. Tiny, tiny bit for a 300-gallon tank. This is a 55-gallon tank, so a little pinch. That's it. That's all I need. And I love getting my hands wet, just saying. So I am going to get started with this. I'm going to add some very seasoned sponge filters by taking them out of other tanks. I can take that sponge filter, rinse it off with tank water, and put that in here, and it will be ready. What I know works is either growing my own beneficial bacteria colony or using a beneficial bacteria colony from another tank and bringing it in here. That is what I choose to do. I'm going to go grab some sponge filters, set them up in here, and then I'm going to go grab the angelfish that are in the basement. Here's the first one I got. Let me go get another one. So I got another sponge filter, and in case you're curious, there's only like a few pieces to these. You got your base, which is weighted down to help keep it on the bottom. You have your cylinder in the center with like a straw-like feature so the air can go in, and as it comes back up through the bubbles, it's sucking everything out, and as it's sucking out, things get sucked right into that sponge. So it looks like you're pushing air in and just air comes out. It looks that simple, but what it's doing is all that's getting here, and beneficial bacteria is going to get in all over the sponge. And I have room for one more. So I got 4 very seeded beneficial bacteria sponge filters going, lots of aeration, clean water. My angelfish Even though it's 100 degrees outside and it's toasty warm, this basement is going to be a little cooler than my angelfish like it. So this aquarium came with a heater. I am going to set this up. So this is now set on 78 degrees. So I got my heater in there. I got my beneficial bacteria. I got a lot of air going on. Let me go get my angelfish. Here is my favorite koi. There we go, precious. Putting in this Anubis barteri. Now to get some pothos. So even those rocks have beneficial bacteria on them, and they're coming right out of their tanks. I have some Java moss. Well, let me tell you, this is definitely not aquascaped. This was my roadblock, just getting it started, not doing it perfect, just getting it done and healthy for these fish. Definitely going to add some more plants so that they can hide. So thanks for coming along and checking out me setting up this first tank in my game of tank Tetris. Stay tuned for some more.